Well, welcome back, everybody. It's been a little while, but I'm finally glad to get back to the table to start moving along the Dungeon Saga adventure here. Going to be doing things a little bit different this time. If you can't tell, I'm actually in a new location. I've actually moved out to my garage area, so the weather's starting to cool down a little bit more, and it's giving me a little bit more flexibility to play. That way I didn't have to break the table down and reset up every time I wanted to shoot. I can actually leave things set the way I had it and then come back to it. So like I said, may make filming a little more flexible for me. And I'm actually able to use my other game table here. So I like the way everything's set up. I have a little bit more room to work with, so I'm really excited. Another thing I'm going to be trying to introduce into this play session, kind of see how it goes, is I'm going to basically play up to a point, and then once I get to a certain, like a stopping point, I am going to take community suggestions about what the next moves the player should take. I'm going to kind of see how that goes. I want to kind of play around with it. So like I said, I'm going to play up to a certain point, get everybody acclimated to what the mission is or what needs to happen, and then I'll break and upload and then get some community suggestions about where the player should go next or what the next set of moves is, and I'll kind of go into more detail about that when I actually post and talk about that or at the end of the mission here. So, but what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and get us started off. We are in Adventure 5, I believe. So we'll go ahead and go here, make sure we're good to go. Alright, so Adventure 5. Okay, so the adventure is Stench of Death. Before I read our flavor text here, I'm just going to kind of go through real quick. We have Rorden, the Dwarf Fighter. He has Tough, so we have Rorden here. He has the Tough card, and remember that's going to give us, at the end of each round, he can roll a dice. On a roll of 6, the hero can remove 1 wound counter from the hero card, so that's real nice. We have Orloff, the Human Barbarian. He has Frenzy, Tough, and 2 battle potions. So Frenzy, as if you remember from our previous missions, is each time the hero attacker is in a fight, he may reroll 1 dice that fails to beat the defender's armor. So that's really nice. He also has a Tough ability, so just like Rorden, he can roll a dice at the end of the round to see if he can recover a wound. And he has 2 battle potions to spend. It says the hero gets plus 2 dice on his next fight attack, up to a maximum of 6. So those are consumables, so that's why I left them kind of out here. The next one we have is Madrika, our Elf Ranger, has Spider Silk Armor, Sure Shot, 1, and 2 healing potions. So here is our Elf Ranger. Sure Shot is the Ranger can re-roll 1 dice that fails to beat the defender's armor per attack. Spider Silk Armor gives the elf plus 1 armor, so that's real nice, and 2 healing potions to spend. It says the hero immediately removes 1 wound counter from his hero card, so that's real nice. And our final hero is Denor, the Human Wizard, basically stacked to the gills with stuff. Magister, 3 Power 1 Energy Crystals, 1 Power 2 Energy Crystal, 1 Power 3 Energy Crystal, and all the spells: Flame Bolt, Break Ward, Burn, Feet of Stone, Brisk Work, Shield, Crystallize, and Corrode. So if you've been with me for my other missions, which should be linked or should be in the playlist, so you'll be able to find those, you'll know that we've used those spells. He has basically his own little deck that he can draw from. Magister is the ability for him to cast 3 spells in a single turn rather than 2. These are the minor spells. And then he has the Power Energy Crystals to spend to help basically make his spells stronger. Power 3 will give him 3 dice. A Power 2 gives you 2 dice, and a Power 1 crystal gives you 1 dice. So he can spend those only once per turn, and to be able to, I think it's once per turn. I think I'm saying that right. So we'll be able to spend that to make his spells a little stronger. We have our Overlord deck. This is the original Overlord deck, but we use it as a timer. We have the 12 cards in this deck that it says to start with. We have our invisible Overlord cards that come with the Adventurer's Companion. And we'll be using those, and if you've watched my other videos, I kind of use them a little bit differently than how the rules say you should use them. I don't really follow the threat and the order every time. I basically, if it doesn't really make sense, an Overlord player wouldn't do it myself, then I just kind of ignore the order and the threat, and I go for what just makes the most sense. It kind of helps the game move along a little faster, and I've actually lost 2 games using it in that fashion. So I think that it works just fine, and I haven't had a problem with it yet. So we have our heroes all set up. We have who we know is going to be our bad henchman that we'll be battling, which is Hogar. And he's got actually some spells that he has available to him, so he has that on his hero card. And we have our setup over here, which is the Necromancer panel, so we can look up the stats. We have our range checkers, our extra energy crystals if we draw them. Counters over here, our extra enemies if they actually do spawn. And of course our wonderful attack dice. And so, okay, with that, I'm going to go ahead and start with the flavor of the mission here. So, Adventure 5, Stench of Death. The tunnels had widened out now, and they had left a crumbling outer sections of the hold and reach the... Okay, hold on. So, the tunnels had widened out now, and they had left the crumbling outer sections of the hold and reached the solidly built core. This far down, the air was close, and the smell was overpowering. As if the spoiled meat stench weren't enough, the drone of fat, lazy flies was a consistent, maddening buzz in their ears, echoing around the high-ceilinged chambers. The zombie troll had smelled like that, though not as strongly. They all gripped their weapons tighter as they advanced into the depths. The irritation had now become a threat. He had only just got his hands on the tome, and it might take hours or even days to begin unlocking even the basest of its secrets. He could afford no distractions. Fortunately, the fools seemed to have done him a favor. Heading straight for Hogar's lair, he pulsed a command through his link with the creature, feeling his pulse slow and his thoughts grow cloudy as he entered the brain pan of the undead troll. He would grant himself this small indulgence, seeing the doom of these interfering cretins for himself through Hogar's eyes. Then he could attend to the real matters at hand. So it sounds like from reading that the Overlord is actually going to be taking command himself of Hogar, which is kind of neat. I think this is going to be our Hogar character. All right, so we have our map set up just like it says here. Our heroes are starting right here. We have our first troll here that is in this room. Sorry. Now the door is closed, so we can't see any of this stuff over here. This is just not even available to us. We can't even move these minions or anything until this door is open. So when we draw some command cards, it's going to give the Overlord additional commands. We don't have control of these until that door is open. So really the only one we have here is going to be the troll here. We have a treasure chest up here. These item cards are already been drawn. We have a door, and I totally forgot to put the little markers on here. So this is going to be just a regular armor 3 door, and the next one over here is the same. It's an armor 3 door, and this chest here I'm trying to find from the pile is a Ward 1. Okay, so we just have to break Ward 1 on that. And that's all we have for the map right now, so we can go ahead and get started. For the Overlord cards, we always draw a hand of 3 to start the Overlord with, so that 3 is going to go away. And then we have these left, and we'll flip 1 card at the end of the Overlord turn once that is all said and done. I've already pre-shuffled these, but just in case we don't trust my shuffling, I'll go ahead and break. Split the deck, and then we have that. And with that, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and get started here. Alright, so remember when heroes activate, they get their 2 actions. They can move and then perform their regular action. So move always has to be the first thing that you do. And then we go by the movement cards, the stats on our hero sheets here. It tells us how far they can go in the movement points. We really like to try to bring that troll down. Oh, I forgot to say, before I get started with that, there was this special rule in this particular map. I want to make sure that everybody's aware of it because I actually may forget it. It says the trolls aren't the quietest of creatures at best of times, and a troll in a fight is something that is hard to miss. The noisy death of the second troll alerts Hogar, who comes to investigate. When the second troll is removed from the board, remove the second door as well as if it hasn't already been opened, revealing that part of the dungeon. Oh, if it hasn't been opened. Okay, so once we kill this second troll here, it's going to automatically remove this door, so we don't even have to worry about it. But once we do that, then that means everything can actually start moving our way to get to us. So got to be kind of careful about that, but it also may save us a little bit of time. If we kill this troll, it's going to open that door, and I don't even have to worry about it. Okay, guys, I'm back. I'm sorry that you probably noticed a little bit of a lighting change here. I had some complications last night right before I was about to start, and I had to kind of forego playing, so I've had to shift my turn to the morning. That's kind of why you notice it's a little bit brighter in here. Usually I do my filming at night. So, all right. Anyway, to get things started here, I'm going to go ahead and start the first turn. We have our 4 heroes here that are ready to start their way through the dungeon, and they notice they have a troll around the corner. So what I'm going to do is I know I have a very narrow space here, and I've gotten into the situation before where when these guys activate, they can actually come down here and completely block the path of the heroes, and it makes it very, very difficult to make sure everybody that has a turn can actually activate. So what I want to do is before the invisible Overlord might actually get an interrupt, I want to try to prevent that from happening where he can block us in. So I'm going to valiantly activate one of my more armored up heroes so he can get up there in the fight and really try to prevent him from activating or actually moving. So I know that between my 2 fighters here, my little dwarf here has an incredible armor. So what I'm going to do is he has a movement of 6. So I'm going to move Rorden, my fighter. I'm going to move him up 6 and try to get I want to pin him in so he cannot do much movement. So I'm going to go ahead and move him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to move him. I'm putting myself right in the front arc of this, and this is a larger creature. So what's interesting about one of the larger creatures, or a larger model, I guess, per the game rules, is even though I'm in his front arc, I'm automatically considered outnumbered when I'm in his front arc. So when I'm rolling a dice to fight, my combat dice, it's going to be at a -1. So he's already got the advantage on me. But at this point, he can't really go anywhere because he's now blocked in by me. So I'm just going to go ahead and stay here, and I'm going to take my, the only thing I can do, the only unique thing I have with him is the tough ability, which, kind of brings down a wound. So I'll go ahead and just roll my standard melee attack on him. Now, normally I would get 4 dice, but since I'm outnumbered, I'm only going to get 3. So -1 to the dice. The zombie troll, has a combat dice of 4. So he's going to get to roll 4 defense against my 3 combat roll. And his armor is a 4, so when I roll my dice, I'm going to basically be, if I roll anything that's a 4 and under, then I'm going to ignore those rolls because they're going to be feeble rolls. So we'll go ahead and roll our first attack. And that one went all the way over here, but it was a 2. It fell out of my hand, so we already know we're going to ignore that. Let me go ahead and finish the rest of the rolls here. Okay, so I rolled a 6 and a 1. And he rolled a 6, a 5, a 4, and a 1. So we take my 2 feeble rolls out. The only good thing I rolled was a 6, but his 6 beat me. So that attack was completely negated by the zombie trolls, and Rorden's turn is done. We'll go ahead and flip our first Overlord card. It is not an interrupt, so we can continue on with the hero's turn. I'd like to again get my heroes up into the fight as fast as possible to keep him blocked in. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move my next fighter, the Barbarian, up. He has a movement of 7, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I really don't want, I want to leave a nice space open for him in the middle here, so I might try to see if I can bring it over here. So this was 4, 5, 6, and then change my facing right when I get to that point. Now, even though my Barbarian is still considered outnumbered, now the Troll is outnumbered because he has 2 heroes in his front arc. So when he's rolling his combat dice, now he's going to be rolling a -1 dice. But I also roll a -1 dice just for being outnumbered with this large model here. His combat dice is 5, so with him being outnumbered and rolling, he'll only be rolling 4. It's one of the 2 trolls in this, so I'd like to try to see if I can give him a good punch. So I'm going to go ahead and burn one of these battle potions. It gives me +2 to the next fight attack, so I can get a maximum of 6. Now with his 5, this would have only give me 1, but since I was a -1 dice, because of the outnumbered, I only rolled 4, so this actually will give me my full maximum 6 dice to hit with. So I'll go ahead and throw that over there to burn the card. And so we are going to be rolling with 6 dice for Orloff. And the zombie troll only gets 3 now because he's outnumbered. He gets to roll a -1 dice. So this may be pretty good. I'd like to see if we can get some good wounds on him. We're still ignoring anything that's a 4 or 1, 2, 3, or 4 as far as the hits go. So let's see how we roll. Pretty poorly. Rolled a 2 3s, 2 2s, a 5, and a 6. Those 5 and the 6 is pretty good, so we're going to keep those. He rolled a 3, a 2, and a 4. So both of my hits come in. Now, according to the chart, he does have 4 life. He'll have to take a total of 4 hits to be killed. So we've gotten 2 hits on him. However, he has the regenerate rule, one of my most unfavorite rules of this game. And the first part of it is when the model suffers any wounds, and before you determine if it has been destroyed, it rolls a single dice. On a roll of 5 or 6, it reduces the number of wounds suffered by 1. So we're going to have to see if he reduces the amount of damage he just suffered. He rolled a 2, so yes, that was awesome. So he is going to suffer 2 wounds. So we're going to go ahead and put that on Mr. Troll here. So he's got 2 more wounds to go. That was an amazing hit by Orloff. And his turn is done. So now we're going to flip our next card over. It is not an interrupt, so we now still can continue on with our heroes. I know that my wizard has some spells available to him. I know that for most of these that we're going to be using, they're going to be in the short. Some of my minor spells actually they don't require line of sight, but they do require short range. So we know that in order for him, this is our short ruler, in order for the wizard to actually get off any successful attacks, we need him in this space or this space at least, to try to probably even any one of these 3 spaces to get those attacks. So what I'm going to do is I want to keep him back out of the fight. I definitely don't want him getting through the troll and hurting my guy. So I'll go ahead and move him let's see, he gets a movement of 7, our wizard. So we're going to move him 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I really want to keep him back. He's so squishy, so try to keep him protected as much as possible. All right, so now we're getting to some fun stuff here. I don't know where those came from. Um, the wizard's got some options here. So he's a magister, just like I said. He's able to do 3 minor spells, which is really good. So we have some options here. We have Flame Bolt as a minor, which is a 2 dice attack. We'll probably use that one. We have Corrode, which is another minor spell that takes off -1 armor until the end of the turn. So that's really good. That means he'll be at an armor 3 instead of an armor 4. Crystallize is another good minor spell because we roll to see if we can add any more crystals to our supply. Break Ward we're not going to be needing. It's for doors and locks. Burn is a major spell, so that would be the only one we can launch this attack, but I would really like to try to bring him down as far as Corrode so the archer may actually have a chance to hit him. So when I use that, Feet of Stone is a really good one. It's a major, and that basically prohibits the attacker. It says they attack and defend at -1 dice. So that's really good, but it is a major. It would be the only one I can do. Brisk Work is helping somebody move up to 2 spaces. We really don't need that. And then Shield, the caster gets +2 dice on his next defense roll. So we're not going to be doing any of those right now, so I think I'm just going to stick with these 3 minor spells. I'm going to first go ahead and cast Crystallize to see what additional crystals I can put in my stash. Holy crap, we got a 6. 6 is a power 3 energy crystal, so I'll go ahead and see over here in my stash of crystals if I have any power 3s left. Oh, I do, right here. So I'll add that to my stash. That was really good. That was a really good roll to get. Alright, so Crystallize, I should move my cards up here. Crystallize has been used, so we're going to turn that since it's a minor spell, only 45 degrees. Corrode does not require line of sight, as per this symbol here, and it is a short range minor spell. It says the target suffers -1 armor until the end of the round. So we're going to go ahead and burn that card. And then I'm going to put this little symbol on him to know that he gets 1 less armor. And then our final, we're actually going to throw an attack at him. This is this target suffers a 2 dice magical attack. I'd like to try to buff that up a little bit, so I'm going to burn this power 3 energy crystal that I just got, which gives us 3 additional dice. I'm going to put that over here. So with the 2 base that we get here and the 3 from the card, the wizard is going to be shooting him with 5 dice, and the troll is outnumbered, so he's only going to get to defend with 3 dice, so we'll take 1 away. His armor now is an armor 3 instead of an armor 4, so this might actually go really well for the wizard. We'll see. We're ignoring any rolls that are 1, 2s, and 3s. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so 1 and 3 are going to go away because they're feeble. So that means I rolled a 5 and 2 4s. He rolled 2 4s and a 3. So my 5 beats this one. His 4 beat out this one in the middle here, and my 4 beat out his 3. So that's 2 hits coming in on him. And what we're going to do is, remember, we have to roll his regenerate ability to see if he can lessen any of those attacks coming in. So a 5 and a 6, and he'll negate one of those wounds. He did not negate one of those wounds. That means this troll is dead. That was an awesome, awesome set of rolls for us. So those 2 wound markers are going to go back, and this troll is dead and off the board. Awesome. That was a really good job by the wizard. So that leaves my rangers pretty much free and open to just move. He doesn't even have to attack. So that's one of the joys about filming in the garage, is you never know when you're somebody's going to pull in a car right behind you in the garage door. So I had to stop for just a second on that. All right, so we're just finished killing this ugly, smelly troll. There was much rejoicing among our heroes, and now our archer guy, he's like, "Oh, okay, dudes, I wanna join in with you guys. That sounds like a lot of fun." Okay. So we use flame bolt. So 45 degrees. We have our stack here. These are unusable until they are returned upright, which will be at the end of the Overlord round. these are our usable spells still for the wizard. He did an excellent job. So really all now we have to do is go ahead and activate our ranger and put him in the best spot. And really I'm just going to move him as far as he can go because there's no other enemies that can rise up. There's no... Oh, I forgot to say. So we ended a third turn, right, for the wizard. Now we go ahead and have to flip an Overlord card just by the rules, and which is good because it was going to be an interrupt card. But as I was saying before, since neither of these doors are opened, none of these models can activate. They're basically invisible to us, and there's nothing left in these rooms here that that we can do anything with. So it's basically just a completely negated card. So we have a movement of 8 here with our ranger. Actually, I don't think we can make it to that chest there, but we can see. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I can't even get to it to open it. Oh, doesn't matter anyway. It's a magical ward. The only one that can open it is our wizard there. But I'll go ahead and try to get like I said, the ranger up as far as I can go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'd like him to be here. I don't like putting him in the front of everything because man, they're focused on targets when we do pull an interrupt. So that's gonna be our first turn with all the heroes. And normally, you know, we flip 2 cards for the Overlord turn. So we're going to flip those 2 cards. But we can't do anything, so they're just going to be added to the pile. We'll go ahead and flip our first card for the Overlord as our timer. So that's going to go in the used pile. Our spells here are going to be rotated 45 degrees for the end of the round. So we have those available to us next turn. We haven't received any wounds on these guys, so there's no reason to roll for their tough abilities. And this is how we're set. Alright, so really, I guess this is an excellent time to go ahead and break. And like I said, I want to try to turn it over to you guys and then ask where you guys want them to go next. Obviously, there's just a couple of choices here. But you go ahead and let me know what you think. We have a treasure chest over here with some items. It has a break ward of just break ward of 1, so that would mean the wizard would need to be over here. Now to use that one, I want to say that you have to be adjacent. Yeah, you have to be an adjacent square for break ward. He's the only one that can do it. So in order for him to get that treasure chest open, he would have to be there and adjacent in one of these spaces to get it. So that's an option to move him up. It's also an option to get these 2 in whichever order to get him in front of the door to try to break it down. Maybe even get one in there to the troll. I don't know. So we definitely have some options here. This one, like I said, is a armor 3 door. So it's going to take some dice to get that one open, which will only be one of the warriors. The ranger can do it, but he's probably not going to be too successful, being as he's only got a combat dice of 4. I think that he can do it. I'm not sure. I'd have to double check that, but I've never used a ranger to open a door up before. Alright guys, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get this edited out, and I'll throw it up on the YouTube channel, and I'll try to get the word out about it. Maybe give it about a week before I post the next part to the video. Maybe we'll cover multiple turns. Maybe instead of just saying, you know, what is the next move you want him to take, maybe just give me an overall, this is what I want you to do with the hero. I want you to try to go and open the door, and then, you know, try to take down the troll. So that'll get us to a pretty good portion of the game, so that, you know, I'm not taking 2 months to finish out a single game here. But like I said, we're trying things out and seeing what the best option is for it. But I think it'll go pretty good. I think we'll have a little bit of fun with it. So I'll leave it here and see what you guys think and where we should go next. Talk to you guys later.